What's up, YouTube land? Xeno Gaming here, back with episode number 35 of my F1 2020 My Team series, and we have the Hungarian Grand Prix today. A track that, as I was stating at the end of the last episode, is one of the better tracks in the world, just for a driving point of view. In a Formula 1 car, this anyway. Just love driving this track on this game. It's one of the better tracks on the game. Just a pure driving standpoint, not looking at racing and all that, because it's very difficult to overtake around this circuit. So yeah, looking forward to this one. AI aren't the strongest at this track, so it always helps the player in that point of view, and so always going to look forward to this race. Good chance to score big points, because the car is just getting better and better as we go along here. And it's starting to wedge closer to the top, which is Mercedes and Red Bull. Mercedes have really had a stranglehold after Red Bull's early season dominance. So, as we're going to get a fresh gearbox as well, which is always good news. But yeah, Red Bull and Verstappen especially, he was dominating at the start of the season. But, I know since around Monaco, it's just absolutely turned. And now Mercedes have just turned it up. Their car has gotten a lot better, a lot quicker over the course of this season, and Valtteri Bottas has really taken a stranglehold on this title. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here as we head here into qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix. So our car, as I said, it's been on an upward trend, and we're very much on par with Renault on the graph chart, with Renault for the third or fourth quickest car.
Okay, I know you're eager to get out there, but I'm going to need you to be patient for a few minutes. We're just trying to zero in on an oil leak.
So there we go, an oil leak, which is an unfortunate start to the session, and this is a bit of time that we don't have now, that we lose in terms of running, but it's not going to affect us too much because it's only Q1, so better to have this happen in Q1, not Q3, and I probably only want to use one set of tyres to get through Q1 anyway, so we can save them for Q3 to have 2 runs in Q3. So this actually isn't the worst thing in the world. We'll get a bit of development on the track from all the other cars running out on track as we now come around here to end our first lap here in Q1, and going to come across the line with a decent time, puts us up in the 4th place. And then I was coming through on the second lap here. We're very close to the lap time, but just falling away here in the last sector. But not able to improve the lap time on a second push lap, which is interesting. And yeah, we stay in 4th place, and we drop down to 7th in Q1. Not too many issues with Q1 here today. Unlike the last few Grand Prix, we're able to finally just get through a session here with our teammate Hubert unfortunately qualifying down 17th. So unfortunately I wasn't able to get the whole list there. But yeah, not ideal, especially knowing we got a car that's easily going to be in Q3 this afternoon. So we're going to come across the line here. First run in Q2 and go purple. That we're eventually now back in 4th place. Look at the time Ricardo's put in, but we're having a great lap here on our second run in Q2 to just ensure we get through to Q3, and we go to the top of the timesheets here. So Hamilton does beat our time here in Q2, but yeah, that's fine. But we are in contention here. It looks like for pole, if we can get it right. Looking at who's out of this session, it looks like Perez, Kvyat, Vettel, Norris, Stroll, and George Russell. So yeah, like I said, if we can put it in 2nd place, disappointing that Hubert can't actually even get the car through to Q2. So showing the car has potential around this circuit, as now we are heading into Q3, and this is our first time to lap. And when I come across the line here, open the DRS, and we go quicker than Albon does here on our first run. So the car is really competitive here, really performing well through the middle sector especially, and through the high speed stuff. As we now, this is our second run here in Q3, and I'll get up on the curb at turn 5 when you all know what that does, and probably affected the Red Bull's lap there, and both the Red Bull's lap probably. And now I'm just trying to get back on track, but session's done, and we're currently in 3rd, and hopefully no one's able to beat the time. Ricardo does beat the time, unfortunately, but that's okay. We're going to be starting 4th place. It's a great place to start from the Grand Prix. All Mercedes front row with Hamilton on pole from Bottas, Ricardo 3rd. So yeah, but without further ado, we'll get straight into the Hungarian Grand Prix.
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of the Formula One World Championship. We don't expect too many retirements at this track. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here. In particular, Ralf Schumacher. He made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts. We're northeast of Budapest for the race today at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring circuit. 14 corners here, 8 to the right and 6 to the left, on a track where downforce is king and passing is notoriously difficult. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Now, I want to talk to you about Valtteri Bottas. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, the captain, Alexander Albon, and Verstappen, Sainz, Ocon, Gasly, and Charles Leclerc, Kvyat, Vettel, Lando Norris, and Stroll, Hubert, Giovinazzi, Kevin Magnussen, and Kimi Raikkonen. De Vries, Perez, Latifi, and George Russell ends our grid lineup. Which of these talented...
So yeah, we're going to get straight into this Grand Prix, no messing about. Strategies are one stop from my side today. Soft tyres, then switching over to the hards to go to the end of the race. Perez and Russell getting penalties for taking new engine components, but that's got them down the order a little bit, but that's fine. That's no worry to us here today in the Hungarian Grand Prix. Target is clearly on a podium, and today we probably will be racing with Daniel Ricciardo. And also, depending what strategy the AI can take, we maybe can get a win here as we go on with the 5 red lights here for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And let's go here in Hungary. And a decent start by Valtteri Bottas, who's already passed Hamilton into turn 1. Ricciardo's getting a tow from Bottas. We haven't had the best run into towards turn 1. Bottas and Hamilton go side by side. Ricciardo squeezes us on the apex of turn 1 there. Not much I could do about that. And now defending from Albon behind, and we managed to hold him off and maintain 4th place. Little lock up on the front left, but Valtteri Bottas leads here in the Hungarian Grand Prix, getting an absolutely belting start, able to get past Lewis Hamilton into turn 1. It's just going all incredibly right for Valtteri Bottas in this year. Just unbelievable driving from him, and he's really upped his game. No one can really hold a candle to him at the minute, and now he's got 1st place here over his teammate Hamilton. And we're now following Daniel Ricciardo for 3rd place here, and we'll be looking to find that rhythm and seeing how our pace stacks up compared to our fellow Australian and also the Red Bulls behind. That's who we're competing with today. I believe the Mercedes will just scamper off into the distance, but it's also, will I be able to overtake Ricciardo here? This is a very difficult track to overtake around. It's hard to manage your ERS, so we're going to come around the final corner here to complete the 1st lap in Hungary. Bottas leads from Hamilton in 2nd, Ricciardo 3rd, myself in 4th place with Albon in 5th. So now I'm cutting here to lap 6, and you can see the Mercedes have gone off into the distance, and Hamilton is right behind Valtteri Bottas, but I'm stuck behind Ricciardo, and I just can't get through at the minute. And he finally pits here on lap 6. I was never really getting even close into turn 1 to even have a dive on the brakes. Just, yeah, not enough straight, and running very high wings for the middle part of the lap. It's very difficult to keep up with the Renault driver on the straight. But anyway, we cut here to lap 8 now, as I've got clear now. Bottas leading the race. Hamilton also pitted early, and Bottas still leads though. I've got Albon following behind me. We've got yellow flags, and Sebastian Vettel is out of the Grand Prix. And this is really going to help us in terms of getting ahead of Ricciardo. He might have had the undercut, but now we're going to get a free pit stop here to go straight to the hard tyre to go to the end of the race. Bottas is on the same strategy as myself here today. So Valtteri Bottas in a very good position, but this is also could potentially put us ahead of Lewis Hamilton here. Hamilton, no, he's going to come through. No, that's actually Hubert, sorry, my bad. There's Hamilton, actually, he still does come through, but he's on the medium tyre, so Hamilton's going to have to stop again. So this goes completely against the 2 stoppers, this strategy, because they need to be making up time, not losing time here. And yeah, this strategy really does not favour them, because now I'm going to go to the end of the race. Hamilton's stuck in traffic here, And yeah, we're going to the end here, and we're going to have Alex Albon behind here. We're actually having to defend a little bit here on the straight, but he's not going to be close enough into turn 1. We've got Stroll, our teammate Hubert ahead, and then Valtteri Bottas. But he's not leading this Grand Prix either. There's a lot of traffic here for the guys who have not stopped yet. So now for us, it's about just seeing if we can pick our way through here. But coming out of the fast right-hander, I have a massive moment on the rear end, and Albon's able to get past, unfortunately for us. So yeah, we drop to P8 here, which is really inconvenient, as now moving on to lap 14 here, we're going to go through the chicane here, and as I did in my league race, I'm going to drop it here on the exit of the chicane. But this is going to cost us a couple seconds, but it's not actually going to cost us any race time, because it's not like we're going to pass Albon anyway, because we just couldn't pass. So yeah, within a lap we're back on this train, no problems there, didn't get any damage, that's the main thing. So yeah, that actually hasn't really cost us any race time. It's just a wake up warning to stay focused. Not sure how I lost the car out of turn 11 either, by the way. Yeah, that's never really happened to me around this track. But yeah, now Hubert comes into the pit lane here on lap 16, and now Stroll hasn't. Well, for this lap he will have DRS, but in future laps he won't have DRS. So Hamilton should be able to get past him on this next lap. But Stroll comes into the pits anyway, which releases Hamilton. Bottas has been released a while ago, so he's down the road by about 6, 7, 8 seconds, whatever it is. Hamilton has to stop again, and now my goal here is to stick on Albon and to get past Alex Albon here. So as we're coming here into the final corner, you can see Hamilton has scampered off a little bit, so Albon hasn't got the beneficiary of DRS, and I'm using all my battery here on the main straight to get as close as possible with the DRS, and I had to send it up the inside here, and we managed to get past Alexander Albon. That's a really nice move deep on the brakes, and we were able to get alongside into the apex of the corner to regain second position once Hamilton pits, who he has now. This is all the way to lap 30 because nothing has happened, as we have a virtual safety car deployed for my teammate Hubert, who's out of the Grand Prix. Really disappointing. So yeah, virtual safety car, not much has happened though since I passed Albon. I've driven away from Albon, haven't really driven any closer to Bottas. I've pretty much been matching Bottas' times lap for lap here, and the gap hasn't really gotten any bigger or smaller. And now I've just been, in the last 5 laps, just been, steady, apart from this last lap where I'm pushing to try and beat Hamilton's fastest lap of the race, which was just really difficult to do. And yeah, not going to happen. So going to come across the line though. Bottas is going to win the Grand Prix. We're going to come across the line to finish in second position. A fantastic result for the team to pick up yet another podium, and great strategy and great pace really across this race. So yeah, fantastic.
There'll be smiles back at the factory after that one. A great race and a real team performance to take victory here in Hungary. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot. A well-earned victory for Mercedes. So let's review the updated driver's standings. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
That's got to be the Flying Finn. Wait, how many Flying Fins have we had now? Anyway, I'm talking about Bottas this time. Just great raw speed, and a good job in traffic as well.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
So yeah, that's been the Grand Prix today, guys. Really quick, really boring one. Not much action, unfortunately. Yeah, once we got into clean air in the second half of the Grand Prix, it was really pretty just driving laps. Actually, the race just felt like it went forever for me. Bottas wins again. The man is just on fire at the minute. So, yeah, doesn't look like anyone is going to be slowing him down to win this championship at the minute. And he's just on an absolute roll. In terms of Ricciardo, see, doing a 2-stop really hurts. He goes from 3rd in the grid to 10th, as you can see there. So the 1-stop is clearly faster around Hungary, especially if you don't have clean air. And if you have clean air, you can make a 2-stop work for sure. But you have to have clean air. And especially when there's a safety car that early, you're just not going to get that opportunity. So 1-stop is always the better option around this track. You can see we've really gained a lot of points here in the Drivers' Championship. Hubert hasn't got that many points to his name at the minute, so it's really disappointing at the minute. But for ourselves and the team, we're doing really well. We're in 8th place, maybe with a better, competent teammate. Because I'm ahead of Esteban Ocon. Renault are 3rd in the drivers in the constructor standings. So I'm ahead of Ocon myself in the standings. So we probably should be a little bit higher up than 8th, but that's the challenges of my team career mode. I didn't realise, even though I've developed this car, how important the driver, number 2 driver, was going to be. And it's actually really, really important. So I will be definitely replacing Antoine Hubert. Rest his soul, of course. No ill against him. That's just how it is in the game. He's been a great servant to be my first teammate, and giving him. I hope another team does sign him up when all the driver transfers go down. As we now head on to the Belgium Grand Prix, and we have a sponsorship renewal, but we also had an interview with Will Buxton. I just didn't think it was I didn't think it was that important to actually show it. Like, I think at this point it's kind of we're in May here. I don't think it's what people want to say at this point. So no use. I'm sure you. Anyway, now just preparing for Belgium, looking to see what else we can do to the car. In terms of facilities, R&D, all that. You can see we've made really nice progression on all 3 main areas in terms of performance with the power unit, aerodynamics and chassis. It's all kind of growing gradually together instead of focusing on one specific area. So the car is quite really well balanced across the three areas, which is what I'm happy with. And it really means we can be pretty competitive on a power track like Monza in Belgium, and also be really competitive at tracks like Hungary where aerodynamics and chassis is going to be more important, as well as Singapore, especially with lower speed corners where the chassis is really important. So yeah, that's been a really good progression. You can see that we're only really behind, we're right in the middle there, but we're not that far off with our engine in terms of performance on the power unit side as well. So things are looking up for Xeno Racing, and just thinking about what we can do to the car here, and what other major upgrades we can get. We probably should be looking to get that major. We're going to actually develop this little bit there. I think that's a DRS bit, but I should be looking as well to maybe get that major wing update that I haven't got on the very left of the screen, but that will be for races to come. And just looking at always to improve this car, and it's getting better every race weekend, and we're getting closer to the front. So that's good news. Parts for the car for the next race, and we've got some engine bits and some a DRS adjustable thing coming for the next race. So as I said, not going to go through and waste your time with that Will Buxton interview. And a bit of news in the F1 paddock here coming up to the Belgian Grand Prix. I don't know if it was in that message from Carl there, or if it's from When I Simulate. I think it's from When I Simulate, but I'm just going to tell you in this episode. Sebastian Vettel has announced his retirement from Formula 1, so he will no longer be available on the game, as we're going to get a nice little facility upgrade here as well to the powertrain for $12 million. So that's always nice to add.
Issue on the production line earlier this week, so the entire development package for this weekend has failed.
So that's a little bit of bad news to end the episode, unfortunately. The power upgrade has failed, so it's not going to be on the car for Belgium. So hopefully I can get it on the car for Monza, which is where we kind of want it for, but still really important at Spa. But yeah, as I was saying, Sebastian Vettel retiring from Formula 1. We'll probably see that as we go into the Grand Prix weekend at the next episode. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like on the video. It would mean a lot to me. Comment your feedback down in the comment section below, and subscribe to the channel for plenty more content. And until the next video, guys, I will see you next time. Till then, goodbye.